you like the idea of a smoky eye, but you're not the most confident at blending, or you're worried about kind of eyeshadow falling down the face here, I'm going to give you some tips on all of those things in today's video. Hiya, I hope you're keeping well. I just went back through some of my old videos recently and I thought it's been ages since I did an eye look. So I've gone into loads of eyeshadow tips. I feel like today's video is also the biggest lesson in trust the process, because there were some really questionable moments as we were going along, but I feel like it's all worked out in the end. But as always, everything I've used is listed in the description. So if you click to make the video full screen, the title will come up along the top. Click the arrow next to it and a full list of products will drop down. But as well, feel free to implement these tips with whatever you've already got in your makeup bag. To prep my skin, I moisturised with a bit of Sali Hughes' cream Drench. She's just created a really simple 5-piece skincare edit. It launched this week. And essentially the whole premise behind the collection is that she wants to simplify, you know, rather than you having to navigate loads of different products, just a few really core classic basics that are going to be really kind of versatile. This is a lovely, beautiful, rich, buttery cream. Great for me today because I'm a little bit more dry. And what I'm going to do today, I want to go for a really smoky eye. So I'm going to do my eyes first so that if there's any drop down or anything, I can wipe it clean before I do my base. So I'm going to start off with my eyeliner. This is a nice brown coal. Now, it really depends on what kinds of makeup you're using and products that you're using. But I'm going to use powder eyeshadows today. And I think that when you're using powders, it's always really good to prime the eyelids. I'm using one of the Bobbi brown concealer sticks all over. This would be my concealer shade. So essentially, I'm going to do 2 jobs with 1 step because this will act as a nice concealer, but I'm going to set this with powder and then do my eyeshadow. Now, one of the things that I think you'll notice, I used to find this a lot when I was doing people's makeups when I was first learning. So bear in mind, when I was learning makeup, I worked at Peaches and Cream in Liverpool, and we always used to do the eyes first, in particular because a lot of the clients, like I only worked on a Saturday because I was at uni. So everyone was going on a night out or a special occasion. So it was really like full glam makeups most of the time. And what was my point going to be? Yeah, you'd always do the eyes first. Now, when I have finished these eyes, I know I want to do them fairly prominently today. If you look at it with no makeup on and the redness and this, that, the other, it's going to look way too much. But then when you put the rest of your face on, it all comes together. And I always used to say that to, if a client had maybe tried something new, I'd say to them, listen, let's just do your eyes, let's put your base on, and then you can see the full thing. I'm going to put some brows on while I'm saying this to you. And then if you don't like it or it feels too much, we'll change it. But so often, once you see the makeup in full context, it's completely different. So I suppose the moral of that story is, if you start watching this now and thinking, what is she doing? It looks terrible. Just stay with me, give me another like 5 minutes after I've finished my eyes and I'm sure it'll be okay. Now, I'm just kind of tapping on some loose powder to set that concealer into place because I want it to have a velvety finish for when the powders go on top of it. And then the first thing I'm going to do is take a nice soft brown. This is actually called soft brown. It's from MAC. Through the sockets of the eyes. Quick caveat. I'm using Jamie Genevieve's new Vieve brushes today. My makeup brushes, a lot of them I've had for like 10 years. Brushes are great, they last really well. These are some of the best brushes I've tried in all that time. I've had them for a few weeks. I went and bought a load of stuff when she did her pop-up. This jumper included, clips included, literally stocked up on everything. But they're incredibly soft. Now, if you're someone that struggles with blending, I think that this brush, because it's so soft, would be a really nice one for you because it kind of does the blend for you just in its own nature, do you know? Like when you're trying to buff through the socket here, it is perfect because the best way I can describe it is it's kind of buttery. It just spreads and disperses everything really well. That said, another kind of brush point to note is that I have started using recently this Cinema Secrets soap to clean my brushes. Really great if you want to keep on top of brush cleaning, but you want something quick and easy. Right, I've picked up my Mulch. I'm tapping off kind of excess on the back of my hand. At least we know I haven't got my complexion on. So I can really go to town here, get this on, and then we'll tidy up. Because this was another thing we used to do at Peaches. Like, listen, it depends what my makeup is like, the technique I would use. But if I'm doing a really smoky eye, you can't be like being careful with your eyeshadow and thinking, oh gosh, I'll do it nice and gently so I don't disrupt my foundation, because then where's the fun in that? And if you've done this really soft smoky eye so as not to disrupt your foundation, it's not like this hell for leather Saturday night that maybe we're wanting. Not that I'm having a hell for leather Saturday night, I'm literally going for a bite to eat, but you know what I mean. But that's not to say I don't want my eyeshadow to be hell for leather. So, I mean, so many parts of this video today are just going to be a complete trust the process exercise. But as you can see, these really strong kind of rounded edges, my main focus is patting this on and getting a really dense colour payoff. Mulch, by the way, is one of those MAC colours that I just think looks gorgeous on everyone. It's a chocolate brown shimmer, but it's got quite a lot of gold in it. So even though it's smoky, it's warm. It warms everything up. I'm going to use the same colour on... Oh, I actually have, it must be in the wash. Jamie has like a little smudger brush, but I don't know where that is. So this is a Vieve 223. And I'm going to take some of that under here also. And then we're going to blend and soften that harsh line, the one up here. Now, I'm picking up some of that excess. This is the brush that we put the soft brown on with. And the first thing I'm going to do is just gently, rather than going back and forth, I'm almost doing lots of little strokes inwards. We do want to blend it upwards because I don't want to lose that colour when I look forward on. But I want it to look nice and soft. That feels quite nice so far, but we've reached a crossroads because I've got too much product on that brush for this to be clean. So the next thing I'm going to do is use a clean brush. This is a Doll Beauty blending brush. I'm going back in. I'm losing everything today. Do you know what? You can't be like absolutely spot on with everything, can you? And if you're with me watching this today, like it is the bank holiday, we're all just at a bit of a chilled pace this weekend, aren't we? So the soft brown, I'm taking it back through the edge of that mulch so that we hopefully get this gradient of like our deeper colour going right up. Something isn't right in that area. We'll soon find out when we use our Look Good Feel Better tapered blending brush. I'm just going to make sure whatever this problem is softened. The best way, if you've got any concerns about your makeup, is just go over everything with a clean blending brush. There's very little that won't resolve. More often than not, a little buff out, a blend, a soften, and then you can go back in and rebuild is really good. Now, I'm patting that mulch back in. As much as I loved the soft blend we got, it meant that we diluted the pigment all over that lid. So let's go back and make sure that that's nice and strong again. There we go. Now we're going to gently, let's use the Look Good Feel Better. Gently soften those together again. Now, this is the problem at this point. You know, when you're looking at yourself thinking, why have you done this? I'm looking at that corner thinking, that could be a bit cleaner, but I can feel a bit of water. There's so much hay fever today. As much as I would love to zhuzh this up a bit and make it a bit deeper, I think I'm just playing with fire if I do that, because I don't know. Oh, I know what I'll do. I know exactly what I'll do. I'm going to take a Nudestix. This is Cocoa. I just sharpened this a minute ago. I'm literally just going to take a little bit of creamy to deepen those outer corners ever so slightly, but I'm going to buff this in. I did this the other day on a friend of mine, super quick. Buffs out really quickly, and it just adds a bit of framework, but it's not terribly detectable. No one's going to look at you like, oh, which eyeliner have you got on? That's not really what we're going for. We're just going for this little hint of extra definition. And I feel like creams are that little bit more, like when this sets, I feel slightly more reassured about the longevity of this, longevity of this, than if I were to leave a powder at the mercy of my hay fevery eyes. I mean, in all honesty, if you've got hay fever, this is the last thing you should be doing, which is obviously why I'm in the middle of doing it. Complete sabotage for the bank holiday. Right, let's clean up. Hear me out, I know that looks really sharp and winged, and that's not my personal kind of style. What I'm going to do is put my base on, and then we'll soften that back down into everything else. I'm going to leave my mascara till last because, as always, whenever I do things that don't follow like an order that would make sense, I've got a TikTok in mind. Okay, let's start with base. I'm going to use the original It Cosmetics CC cream in the shade Light Medium. Do you know what is so funny? You can actually see, like where I'd put the concealer and just buffed it for the eyes, you can see like this tiny patch of red. The one little place that it didn't touch is already showing through. I'm going to use Jamie's 117 foundation brush to do this. Now, do you know what I love about this? I mean, gosh, I'm always on about the CC cream, but if I'm going for dinner, like this evening, I will definitely be having wine, which is something that flares redness up. I don't have to think about this. It is just on for the night, and that's the end of that. I don't know what I've done over here, but that doesn't seem to... I think I've done like a bit of a clumpy layer. So I'm actually going to really buff this, which I wouldn't usually do with the CC cream, but I think I've just accidentally done a few clumpy layers there that I don't need to do. I'm just going to buff this all over, and then once I'm happy that I've got a nice even layer, if I need to, like see there, I'm just showing through a little bit more than usual. I'm going to pat a tiny bit more coverage. Do you know what? Last week, my cousin was picking me up, and she was literally a few minutes away in the car, and I had no makeup on. I threw my face on so quickly. The CC cream was the main thing, but I literally just put on like CC cream, some bronzer, blusher, a nice lippy, mascara, brows, gone. It took me about 3 minutes. I will have to film it actually. I remember thinking at the time, this is actually what I should be filming and not a 1,000,000-step routine, because having 3 minutes to get yourself ready because someone's about to pick you up is probably far more of a frequent scenario than like trying to do a full smoky eye when you've got hay fever. But anyway, moral of the story is we can always rely on the CC cream. I also just love that, like, I don't have to think about it now this evening. This comes in 3 finishes. This is the original one, which I think is the most versatile because it goes on nice and fresh. But if you want to make it more matte, you can powder it. If you want to leave it fresh, you can. But I actually love how this wears because it just kind of looks a bit fresher, I would say, as the evening goes on. And you're not kind of always having to rush to the bathroom and do anything with it. The one thing I do always say with anything, take your powder with you. A little touch of powder, especially around here, is often all you need. And that usually has a little hand mirror in it. So that's the kind of thing that, you know, when you're just in between courses or something, just do a quick little check back in the bag and you know you feel really put together. I'm going to let that sit for a moment before I powder it, but this kind of absolutely harsh angle is not for me. So again, another clean brush. What I'm just going to do for the moment is soften the edge and just take away the kind of the line that I left there. How much nicer. I mean, everyone has their own preference. Someone else will think that's lovely. But for me, it's just soft, romantic. It's just, you know, you still get the power of the smoky eye. But another thing I would say is that if that fades in any way, everything's going to be noticeable. That's just going to gently get a bit grungy and worn as the night goes on. So how I'm doing this is almost just tickling the edge, because I want to soften everything out. I definitely want to soften like this outer edge here. And by all means, if that was feeling too full, like one of the things that could help is that if you retrace the brow bone with a bit of a touch of concealer or something, it just helps to bring down the height of the whole eye. But there we go, so much softer. And again, I'd kind of love to define those outer eyes a bit more. I'm just not going there because of the hay fever. So now I'm going to powder the T-zone for a start, just so that I can assess from here whether I want to leave the outer edges a bit more creamy. And another thing I'm going to do, because it's annoying me, I put on like a tinted lip balm, so that's quite pink, and I'm going for something a bit browner today. So I'm just going to line my lips. Now to pick up my complexion a little bit, I'm starting with one of the Rare Beauty bronzer sticks, and I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood complexion brush for this. Do you know what's really nice about that brush? It's quite small, so if you were wanting to put blushes, bronzers, that kind of thing, you've got a lot of control as to where they go. Can we just side note, Rare Beauty? Listen, I'll be really honest with you. I don't know an awful lot about Selena Gomez. That brand is absolutely wicked. Like, I feel like whenever a celebrity launches a brand, people are always like, oh, here we go. First of all, what's it going to be like? When I say people, I'm included in the people that is saying this. But you're thinking, right, what's it going to be like? Is it any good? Have they even had anything to do with it, or have they just put their name to it? Why are they doing a beauty brand? Do they actually love beauty? Or people have a lot of questions, and quite rightly so. And I think, oh gosh, what have I done here? Literally, it's like some kind of smear campaign against the products. Should be thinking, please don't ever use them again. You're not showing them in a good light. What was I going to say? I really think this is one of my favourite brands in a really long time. And like the fact that it's a celebrity owned brand is just quite a fun fact about it. But for me, it's really not where the appeal is. The appeal. I can't speak today. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong with me. The appeal is just that it's really lovely. In particular, I think she's done lots of really nice cream formulas, so really lovely to kind of press over the skin, add luminosity. I'm kind of patting this in as best I can because I don't want to lift the coverage of the CC cream. Cream blushes, I mean, I'm sure you've seen a few TikToks at this point. If you haven't, it's like a running joke in the best possible way that one tiny dot of this blusher is the most pigmented thing you've ever seen. There's all these videos of people that have come in and gone, oh brilliant, can't wait to try my new blusher, and you're there with like a cloth getting it all off. Let me just show you. It's like a liquid lipstick level of pigment. Look how pigmented that is, but how lovely, because that's going to last you for such a long time. I'm just having a look at what I've bought in here. Do you know what I'm going to do? And I haven't tried this yet. The other day I went to the launch of her new Positive Light Tinted Moisturiser. We will touch on that another day because I want to give that a proper road test. But let me just, for the sake of it, I'm going to put some of her blusher in Hope on the back of my hand with a little dot of the Tinted Moisturiser. My shade in that, for the record, is 26W. And I'm going to mix the two together on the back of my hand before I go anywhere near my cheeks. This is one of my favourite tips for you. I've put a bit more of the Tinted Moisturiser on. This is one of my favourite tips for you for anything bright. I think that could do with a bit more blush. Put it on the back of your hand before you go near your face for several reasons. First of all, you get the measure of it all and you assess your comfort zone. There we are, that's really nice. Second of all as well, when it comes to redness, if you put something on and then have to rub it, you're just exacerbating the redness. Whereas if we just gently press this on and I'm patting away any excess so that we're building this up a tiny bit at a time, like look how nice that is now. And believe me, if that little doe foot applicator had gone straight onto my cheeks, that really wouldn't have been the same success story. I mean, that is just so lovely, isn't it? I was going to put some highlighter over that, but I think because we mixed it in with that tinted moisturiser, we've got enough luminosity. I am going to put the tiniest bit of blusher down my nose. I did an interview this week with one of the girls from Refinery 29. I'll share the piece when it comes out. And it was about this kind of blusher on the nose TikTok trend and what do I think about it, and do I think it's a bit insensitive to anyone with rosacea. And like, I don't know what you think, but I was just like, no, I don't think it is. Like, I feel like, first of all, I love that TikTok is making people experiment and try new things and have fun. But second of all, for anyone that has rosacea and it's really bothering them, and like I say that from a place of speaking to lots of people with rosacea, they're not sat worrying about a blusher trend on TikTok. They're worrying about, I really want to see the right derm. I really want to get a solution that works. I've tried this and that and the other and I'm still finding my groove. Their concerns are not what someone else is doing on TikTok, in my opinion. Their concern is that they get, you know, something great for them and accurate advice. So, I don't know, I thought I'd put that to you. But that in mind, I'm putting blusher on my nose as much as anyone else. It's a bit of fun. It's gonna liven things up a bit, so you can count me in. Now, this feels a bit dark. I'm gonna try a little bit of her gloss with this look. If you're someone that when you get to the mascara chunk of your makeup, that's where it all goes pear-shaped. Maybe it smudges everywhere. Maybe you get it all over your eyeshadow and then you think, oh, I've just spent all that time on that and now I've ruined it. I've got two really good recommendations for you. So the other day, Kirby Johnson, who, side note, is my new favourite person on the internet, go and have a deep delve. She's got the most amazing beauty videos. She was posting a mascara review and she was using one of these. eyes. I've never seen this before in my life. And so everyone in the comments was going, that's all very well about the mascara review, but what is that? And she said it's an eyelash guard. And basically you put it over your eyes. It's going to cover your eyeshadow so you're not getting your mascara all over them. But also I've used a tubing mascara. This is the It Cosmetics Hello Lashes. That's not going to smudge. That's not going to run. And you've just got like the perfect combo for your night out. Right, just to mention, that was the TikTok that I've just like slotted into here as well. Hello Lashes is a tubing mascara. So if you're going on a night out or dinner or whatever and you don't want your mascara to print, tubing mascaras, they don't use kind of pigment in the same way as traditional mascaras. They use rubbery polymers, and basically what it means is you're coating the lashes in this kind of formula that will crumble away so it won't stain or smudge because it's a different technology. A whole load of spiel to say tubing mascaras are really good if you struggle with that kind of panda eye look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, please feel free to let me know in the comments if there's anything in particular you want to see a video on. I've got loads of nice ideas that have come through that I'm going to be working on kind of for the next few weeks, but always very happy to hear what you want to see, so do let me know. But thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and I'll chat to you soon. Take care.